Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hot Off Depressives with Kyle Adams and Chad Johnson. We have officially renamed. We had a little business meeting in the last episode of like, hey, are we going to rename this whole thing? Are we going to fucking pull the trigger? We pulled the trigger. It is no longer Must Be Nice. It is Hot Off Depressives with Kyle Adams and Chad Johnson. Special guest this week, Zane Thomas from Portland comedy, Portland rap community, let's say, right? Okay, yeah. And then also Portland recovery dude. Yeah, there's a lot of inspirational stuff. You see, you're one of there's a lot of Instagram things where you see people putting inspirational quotes up, and it's like, okay, come on. And but yours is actually like one that I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that like really that hits, that like digs right inside and really hits well.
But I took some steps in my life to make sure that that wasn't the end of my story. Like
Right.
I wanted to make sure that I wasn't the dude who did meth. I was the dude who did meth and then went to China and changed his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah. That's yeah.
So okay. Also, I'm gonna, because just before you started talking, I realized that it was only picking up audio in a certain way. So I'm gonna you're gonna be you introed the show just then. That was a little bit we heard from Zane Thomas before we're entering the show. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Hot Off Depressives with Kyle Adams and Chad Johnson. I'm Kyle Adams. That's Chad Johnson. Special guest this week. You already heard from him, Zane Thomas. Holy shit! Portland comedy, Portland rap, Portland badass. We were just talking to him, and he dropped the fact that he went to China. I never knew about that. I'm curious.
Yeah. So what had happened is I was really struggling with methamphetamine, and I had gotten busted, and so I had went to go to a recovery place because I'm like, they're gonna put me in it anyways. I might as well just fucking sign up and do it now.
Mm-hmm.
As I was walking out of there, I had seen somebody who was like kind of a friend that I knew, but I didn't really know that well. And he was just like, "Hey man, are you good?" And I'm just like, "Nah, I just need to get out of this fucking town." And he's like, "Well, you can go string guitars for my uncle in what was it, San Francisco." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool, but And he's like, "Well, I mean, you could go to China and teach English." And I was just like, let's do the guitar one, because that one's fucking crazy,
Right.
And so it was kind of just like in that moment that I didn't really think much of like, oh, maybe I could go to China. But it was like, after I thought about it for a little bit, I was like, why wouldn't I? Like, why would I just let this be like, because if I stay here and stay in this town, I'm going to end up doing meth again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be just as depressed. I got stuck here for another year. I couldn't do drugs, which made me more depressed. It's not like quitting drugs. It's you can't do them. So now you're all fucking mad about it. And like, I'm going to fucking do revenge coke or something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's times that it's like, well, fuck you. Watch what I'm going to do.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it was, he offered that to me, and I ended up, what had happened is he'd gotten it so that if I had spent 28 days in jail, that they would wipe it off my record so that I could get a passport and go to China, fucking teach little fucking kindergarten kids, and fucking, just turn my life around and do what I was capable of, not what I was doing.
Yeah. And that's also such a cool opportunity to just go do something crazy that, like, I'm sure if you would have passed up that opportunity, I don't know how long ago it was, you would have just so many times regretted, like, dude, I could have gone to China, like, and just had a job teaching English, which is what, you just talking, right?
Yeah, dude. It was.
You don't have to have a degree for that, right?
I should have.
So cool.
I should have. But they ended up talking to some people, and they ended up working it out. And I got really lucky. And the thing is that you can never do it again. What I got away with, it could never happen again. Like, the stars literally aligned in my favor, because it's like, you need a 4-year degree now. Before they were letting people with 2-year degrees.
Yeah.
But you need a 4-year degree now. So if I ever want to go back, I gotta get that degree.
Yeah, that's crazy. Even what's that? Wendy Weiss she like has been going to school for a long time, and she got a job that like just fell through because they were like way too strict. It was like New Zealand or something. Teach those people how to speak English. Those morons.
Those New Zealanders.
What are you saying over there? But yeah, that's crazy. So that's a good way to just kind of kick your own self in the ass and just go like, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the opportunity. And
yeah. There was no reason for me to not try and make changes.
Yeah, and the real like pulling the ripcord moment. What was the was that pretty much the thing that you're like, well, this is definitely like, because you had to spend what, 28 days?
28 days in jail. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was probably.
I got out on good behavior, if you'll believe it.
There you go. Just wrote everybody their own song.
Yeah, for real.
So, but that's probably a thing that really like checks you, and you just go like, well, do I want to be this dude? Probably not.
Yeah.
And then I mean, that's not
absolutely.
That's not cool, but I mean, like we were talking to Mike Lindsay, and like it's not cool, but when he says like, yeah, I used to be homeless, I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not, but it's cool in the way that
it's where you're at. Yeah, where you're at now.
Yeah,
it's like you used to be here. It's cool that like it's so cool to see the transition.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's awesome to see everybody's way of like bringing themselves through that and how everybody gets there, because like Kyle and I have talked a lot about how the way that he's coughing out his fucking lugs over there.
Muted the mic. He's like, whoa, that was a big one. Did you guys see that?
We've talked a lot about how it was like embarrassment. How many times that we just publicly were just an idiot or an asshole or just trying to be something that
too much.
Yeah, it's something, and you know, I assume all of our goal is to be entertaining in front of someone and get money in return. And when that does happen, it's crazy. And for me, I look back and I go like, what? It's so nuts that I was drinking so much, and I knew that was the thing that was blocking me from moving forward at all.
Yeah.
And it's weird that it's this just huge like speed bump right in front of you that you don't seem to care. I don't know. I didn't seem to care about it. I was like, well, I'm a fucking party dude. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I get what you mean, where it's kind of like where it's like you almost that it's hindering you, and that like makes it even worse that like you continue to do it. You know, you're just like, this is holding me back, but like it's okay. Because sometimes it helps me, because like sometimes alcohol would fucking loosen me up, and I'd be like, dude, fucking pew pew pew, fucking knock it out of the park, you know. But sometimes I'd be too loose, and trying to find that magic number, it's like it just got to be too much. You know?
I mean, not that I ever want to dive back into things, but there was a night that I was on Adderall and mushrooms. Holy fuck, was I just nailing? It's like one of the best sets I've ever had in my life, and it's just cool.
That's so funny.
Like, oh man.
Well, it's funny because I've taken mushrooms, and I remember I got scared on stage. I was like, I don't want to be up here. I've changed my mind, and I got out of there as fast as I could, but it's because I couldn't keep my thoughts straight. So if I had Adderall.
Yeah, it was like
there's a magic number.
I was very there is, and I don't want to get back into that zone of trying to find that again. I try to be as clear-headed as possible now. Even with weed, I try not to smoke that much weed beforehand, but afterward I'll smoke. Yeah. Holy shit, because I'm just like, oh, it's party time, dude. Kyle, at the open mic we just went to at Ty's house, I sat down and my rock star was in the fucking thing right here. But it wasn't anymore, so I just grab someone's Coors and I just like kick it back, and my mouth is just full of Coors, and I'm like, and then I have to do the thing where I'm like, damn it, and so I just spit it in the fire, and I'm like, well, I don't want to like, you know, I'm not gonna swallow it, because for one, it's just beer, and that's just annoying if that's what does it.
That's what you threw it all away for.
Did it remind you of when you were a kid and you tried beer for the first time? Because that's what it was like for me when I accidentally tried a beer like 6 months into my sobriety.
No, it actually threw me for the biggest loop because I was sitting there with my Rockstar, but it had just been switched because someone else sat there. And, my mouth was full of it. And then it registered so weird that I like forgot where I was. It hit so hard. I was like, this isn't Rockstar. I don't know what's happening. Where am I? And then I look over at Ty. Yeah. I look over at Ty and he's sitting in the chair next to me, just like, and I spit it out and he goes, dude, I thought you were drinking again. I was so excited. I was like, oh, fuck, man. No, give me my Rockstar. And then I swished my mouth out. It was so stupid. I felt like such a nerd, but whatever.
I got poured a Pilsner on accident at an open mic, and I thought it was a CBD soda. And it reminded me of that first time you tried beer. And as a kid, you're like, you like stamp your foot down. I'm never drinking beer. You know, like how kids always are. And then it also reminded me of that yellow glass recycling receptacle, how that smells when it's in the sun. Like that's kind of what it tastes like to me, is that fucking just.
Oh yeah.
I could taste the fermentation. Because I think that one of the biggest acquired tastes of alcohol is getting used to the fermentation taste, because I don't think humans are supposed to ingest shit like that. Like it's rotten. It's not like that's how it's ferment. Like that's how it ferments. Like it's gross.
It's super funny. I didn't even think about that. It is rotten.
You can taste that it's like dead fruit and shit. Like you're like, ugh. Like this is like rotten.
It really does. It tastes like what's that? It's do you guys have the bottle drop up there in Portland?
Yeah, we have the bottle drop.
Okay, yeah, it tastes like that smells.
Yes, that's exactly
that's what you were saying, Kyle. Fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Fucking gross.
Fucking gross.
Oh man. But yeah, when I was a kid, there was plenty of times that there was adults around just like, here, try it. And I was like,
this is gross. I'll
okay,
never.
Yeah,
it was. Kyle put it perfect.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I found an old bit, and it made me real hard because this is a true story. I fucking I swore one time alone as an only child to all of my stuffed animals that I would never do drugs. I was like, there's no way I'll do drugs, Scooby-Doo. Like, how many Lunchables I had to buy to get you?
Okay.
I just wanted to think that like the first time that you were smoking weed, Scooby-Doo like just flashed in front of your eyes, and you're like, no, I won't tell him.
Ruh-roh.
So I'm gonna give him some Scooby snacks later. You guys will both be good.
Scooby's not a snitch. He's cool.
No, he just sits idly by, disappointed.
What was the first instance where you can remember you were like, okay, I'm gonna drink alcohol. Here we go, and like you were doing it on purpose to get drunk?
It was after my mom died. Like I drank with my mom once when she was alive. She gave me like the time. I don't even know if she gave me actual alcohol. They were all drinking daiquiris, and she poured me like something. It looked like maybe a tiny little bit, but I was like hamming it up because I was just trying to make my mom laugh, and I was like rolling around. It's like, I'm drunk. You got your son drunk. Like kicking chairs over. Like, you got your son drunk. I just kicked over my. I literally just kicked over my bong when I did that.
Oh no! Oh no!
You got your son drunk. Looking at her now, I'm like, you got your son high.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, yeah, she's right here.
I'll get the 409.
Yeah, but the first time I got drunk and I was like, this is alcohol. We're gonna drink and get drunk. Was it was a couple like maybe like 7 months after she died, and it's actually part of my story about how I lost my virginity. It was apricot brandy I took out of my mom's liquor cabinet that she had, and I forgot. My dad forgot about it, and I found it, and I got that, and we were in an above ground pool listening to the Daredevil.
Oh my god, the above ground pool!
Hell yeah!
Listening to the Daredevil soundtrack. The fucking apricot brandy bottle was floating. I was 14, and it was me, my best friend,
Ben Affleck,
and two girls. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Daredevil. Had a lot of like the song that I lost my virginity to was the Evanescence song. But
Isn't there like a line that says "Fill me up inside" or something like that?
Wake me up inside.
Wake me up. Wake me up inside. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the first time I got like drunk, and I knew that's what I was doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a big sister, and when I was 15, she's like, "All right, here we go." And so she had me and my friends come over, and she just bought us all Mike's Hard Lemonades, and
Oh,
we just got like just white girl wasted. It was just so disgusting, and like the hangovers the next day were ridiculous, and we just got so sick, but really hammered. Just
Worth it.
what about you, Zane?
Oh man, I've been sitting here fucking trying to think this entire time, and it's like I don't know. I guess like the time that I really started drinking was like when I was like I'm gonna get drunk. It was like when I started like hanging out at like parties and stuff, and I was like I just didn't feel fucking comfortable, and I was like, oh, I can talk to people like this, you know.
Yeah.
It was just like it became like a it became like an I would associate it with like confidence and fucking talking to people.
Yeah, so
And so
like
that yeah.
is that something that because that's definitely a thing for me is it's really hard for me to just walk up and be social with a person, but that it helps me so much, and like I didn't even really care, and I do care a lot. Like it's really hard for me to just go be a social person, and I like envy people that have that skill about them. It's like when you have a dog and you take it to the dog park, that you got to like let it meet other dogs. I was never like taken out. I just was like, put in kennels as a kid, and then like, there, you go fucking over there now.
I kind of feel like I can agree with all these things. So I feel like drugs kind of help me find my personality in a lot of ways and kind of
Sure,
like
sure.
shape how I could be confident. Because
Yes.
I took away from like the Oxycontin. I think I've talked about this before. When I used to do Oxycontin, I used to call it my Felix Felicius, like in Harry Potter. It was like so in Harry Potter, when you drink the Felix Felicius potion, anything that you do that day, you succeed. Everything, it's like, yay, you played the lottery, you won. You fucking stood up to the bully, you beat his ass. Like
Yeah, that is Oxy for sure.
Yeah, when I took
That
Oxy,
is so funny. I
yeah,
just like
it's just
that.
like,
I like that because of the crossover, the Venn diagram of like Harry Potter and Oxycontin.
Yeah.
It's
so
just like
it's
only
so
somebody
nerdy.
could come up with. Only you could come up with that.
It's so trashy and so nerdy and very Florida, but it's like, oh, but I I would wait tables on it sometimes, and I would hang out with people on it, and that was like how I was like, fuck it, because it kind of got rid of my anxiety. And then I realized coming off of these things, which both of them I came off of cold turkey, which is still kind of fucking crazy to me. Like Oxycontin, I saw too many people get fucked up and die.
Oh yeah.
And then with alcohol, I just got embarrassed too much. But it was kind of the same idea. I was just like, I'm not going to be anywhere near that. But I took away some of those same ideas from alcohol too. Like a lot of my stage presence probably came from alcohol in the beginning. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just because you don't have it in your life anymore doesn't mean because that's you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I
deep down, that is you. That's who you are.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I
no, I
mean, when
agree.
you're debilitated, there's a difference between being debilitated and finding that perfect curve, like Zane was talking about in the beginning, like where you can find that, like, oh, I feel good, and it makes me feel a lot better. But it's just, I don't know, it's just such an I don't judge people who drink still, who have it in check, but the people who drink all the time, they have to know that that's kind of like that's an evil substance, man. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're money and you're fucking up your life in ways you don't realize until you stop.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I'm, as somebody who's been like a past addict, and I'm sure you is in the same situations. It's like I don't really judge people for doing drugs because I've done drugs and I know what it felt like, why I was using those drugs and alcohol to fill certain voids in myself. It's like so
Yeah.
I am very understanding of that, but at the same time, like I have to set up healthy boundaries in my life so that way I'm not triggered to use, And the thing is if you're not keeping your addiction and your mental health and stuff in check, then like that's something I can't have a part of my life. Like I'm very understanding, and if like getting sober is something you want to do, then that's cool. But like you don't have to get sober if it's not a problem. But if it's a problem, it can't be my problem too.
Yeah.
You know, like and I've had and that's coming from like, you know, also an understanding that's like people have had to distance themselves from me when I was using, because that's something that they couldn't have a part of their life. They're just like, hey, this person isn't taking care of themselves. You know, like if they're not going to take care of themselves, I don't want them to be a part of my life. And it's like I have to do that to other people, to be like, hey, why don't you take care of yourself? I fucking would love to see you. You're my fucking homie. I love you to death.
Yeah.
But like if you're not doing that, I'm sorry, you know?
And that's a thing I've seen people do and been like, wow, that's a real strong person's stance to take. Like you must, I like envy people that have the ability to be like, hey, you need to figure your shit out before we can be around each other again. Because I'm just like, hey, if you've got problems, I'm fine with that. We just can hang out, and then I'll be like, I'm the person who has less problems. That's how we're doing this. It's
you use people who are addicted to be the ugly girl next to
oh yeah, it's nice because then I'm like, what? I just smoke weed all the time, and then like
the popular girl. No, I feel that way. I feel that way too sometimes.
That's so I can't do it. Like it's my mental health, like, you know, because I'm also bipolar, and that's a lot of the reason why I quit drinking too, is
right.
Like, you know, like I'm learning so much about bipolar every single day, about, you know, taking the medication, not taking the medication. You know, today I had a really hard day because I didn't take it, then I took it, and it's just there's a lot of mental stuff that, like, you know, just juggling that goes on with that stuff. And it's like I can't be mixing that with alcohol, you know. So
for sure.
If I see somebody else who's also struggling and it's like, hey, I'm gonna mix this with alcohol, I'm like, yo, homie, I'm barely holding my fucking shit together. Nah.
Yeah, it's like the people.
I love you, but nah.
Yeah, it's like a person who can't swim trying to, you know, grab onto another person, and you're like, oh no, no thanks.
No. And that's something that, like, that's a place I really had to get to within like the last year, because like before that I was, you know, and I don't know how to say this, but like I was so compassionate that like I wanted to take on everybody's problems.
Right.
I wanted to save the world, you know, and I was like, hey, you know, fucking, you got a problem, fucking hit me with it, you know? And it's like it's come to the point that it's like if you say that enough times, like people will hit you up. And there are people who just need that friend that one day. But there are also those people who aren't making healthy changes in their life, and like I can be your friend, but I can't be your only friend, you know?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's not healthy on that side. But yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to want to help people that don't want to help themselves.
Yeah,
and I've been there before, especially in Florida with those guys. They were like, it was horrible that the pain management epidemic in Florida, like the abuse of medication and stuff, coincided with Movie Stop and GameStop taking movies and games for cash. Like, it was not like my fucking movies were disappearing all the fucking time. And it was like, dude, I swore I had this, and my friend was like living on my couch and addicted to cotton and like having DTs and shit. And I was like, dude, I swear that we own Step Brothers, right? Like, where did Step Brothers go?
God.
The motherfuckers like took my car and drove my DVD. Like, he stole my car basically. We had the agreement that he could take it, but it was like he had to let me know, you know. But it was fucking that shit was so annoying.
Yeah, I worked at a GameStop. I worked at a GameStop and movies too, and that was the story. People would just bring in like, here's a stack of DVDs, and I'm like, that smells like cat piss, and they're like, yes it does. and then I'm like, well, here's because you wanted this in cash, it's a lot less, and they're like, yeah, okay, and I'm like, here's $6, and they're like, cool, let's go, let's do this, and I'm like, all right.
That's so funny.
No, it was bad. He had like different. He would literally wake up. He's like, I need to make $40. That's all he was like. He's like, I need to make $40. Dude, we need to make. How do we make $40?
And he probably always could, right?
Oh yeah, He always did.
These fucking
It's
hustlers. I don't get it. I don't have.
If
I
you
don't.
just made $40 a day, just normally, just fucking hustling,
Yeah.
an extra $40.
He needed 4 pills a day, and that's what it cost. It was $40.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like a lot of
Crazy.
junkies and shit. They have that number in their head where they're just like, I just have to get this. I just need to get this drug, this amount of the drug, and then everything will be cool. And then they just sit and do the same thing they would have fucking done if they would have just, like they could have done. Like, oh, let's watch a movie, and I'm like, let's watch a fucking movie. All this time getting high, we could have just watched a movie.
He wouldn't like go kayaking or something. He wouldn't like, he would be like, dude, we're playing through Grand Theft Auto. You want to snort some and go play through Grand Theft Auto 4 again and go on virtual dates? They zoomed in on Oxy. No, the best was and I talked about this too. We had Mario Kart tournaments, and the prize was an Oxycontin pill.
Hell yeah! Sounds like my party right there.
Yeah, the dude who was a junkie, he taught me how to shake a blue shell. I had never seen anyone. He was like, dude, yeah, you just fucking hold it like this and like right at the moment, cancels it out.
Which Mario Kart was this?
It was the Wii one. It was right when the wheel was introduced. It was.
Oh wow.
Pretty bad. That was actually one of my favorite memories of doing Oxycontin. Is just being like
the fact that, like, I've heard that joke before. So the fact that like he actually taught you how to shake a blue shell, like that it's actually possible, because that sounds like a really like a desperate thing that a junkie would do to get a pill, but like the fact that it's true, it's like
he knew all the secret courses too. He's like duck behind this tree, it's quicker. And I'm like, what the fuck? I had never seen that secret passage before, and I was like, man, you motherfucker, you're sly. I was like, you've been practicing because he's like fucking what do they call it? He's like a ringer. He's like a billiard. He's like a billiards check for Mario Kart.
Oh, you should take him to some tournaments and hustle some kids. That's
ridiculous.
That's how it was for me though. Like when I broke my leg, I was on a prescribed Vicodin for 2 years, and then they pulled me off of it cold turkey because I went to I changed doctors, and one of them was a sports med doctor, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can't be on fucking Vicodin anymore." And I was like, "Oh dude, but it's so good. Come on." But I would like take 3 or 4 Vicodin and sit there, and I'd play Need for Speed Underground. And I'd sit in the options menu, and that was even the most interesting thing to me. It's crazy, like you were saying, Kyle, that it just makes everything a win after that, taking the Oxycontin, because that's how it feels. It's like, dude, I will play in the options menu, and I'll feel satisfaction in my torso. I'll be like, oh my god, this feels great. Sound, whoop, yeah, hell yeah. Oh man, it's crazy that it makes everything. I mean, they're made to be so crazy and powerful, but it's almost like synesthesia to experience with pills like that, because you get like a feeling, and then you can feel it like a tactile feeling inside you, and it's they're so terrible and amazing feeling.
See, I got into uppers. That like I did the downers, but it's like I did them as a means to an end. But fucking if I could do anything, I was just like, oh, like my friends had told me, they're just like, never try meth. If you try meth, you're going to get addicted. And I'm just like, all right, I won't try meth. And I was like, well, we're out of weed. Let's try meth this one time.
Such a different option.
Yeah, dude, we went straight for it. Like, it
dude,
was just.
Is that in the small town? What's that place called? Burns, yeah, Burns, Oregon.
Yep, yeah. So
excellent.
But
yeah, small towns. That's why I was glad I got out of Zephyr Hills. I would have been doing meth if I stayed in Zephyr Hills.
Yep. Well, it's like I think it wasn't that we ran out of weed. It was just that at that point I had done pills, and I was just like, well, I mean, fucking, once you smoke an oxy off of fucking tinfoil, you're just like, how bad can meth really be? You know, it's like I'm already smoking shit off of tinfoil. Oh yeah.
I never did that. I was always scared.
Kid.
I was always scared. No, I don't think it's grungy. It's just that I fucking snorted them off of a Kmart toilet one time. Like that was the blue light special. They actually called the pills blues too. We used to laugh about that. Like, that's the blue light special. We fucking snorted
the blue light special.
Those little blues.
Yeah,
Did
dude.
you
I
were
mean,
you around when they had were you around when they had the film on them?
yeah, no,
The
we had to rub it off. We had to rub them off. That's like
everyone
those were
had their
the
tricks for it.
yeah, those were the fucking time releases. We used to rub. That's how fucking okay. This is how fucked up we were. We
Yeah,
fucking would
they
take a
created a
napkin.
safety.
Yeah, they were like, nah, dude, like people need to not do this, and we're like, get this fucking time release off, and then we can record it.
If you suck on it, you can get the fucking time release off.
It was like sucking a skittle sometimes, dude. We did that sometimes too. We would keep it in our. God damn it.
Right. I don't remember who I was talking to about that, but like somebody was talking about the time releases, and I was like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Dude, Emma's dog had to take a couple pills recently, and she was like, he just won't take it as a pill. I keep trying to put it in his mouth, and he just spits it out. And so I just got out a spoon, and I put the pill on a counter, and I just went, whoop. And she's like, whoa. I just turned it into powder like crazy. I was like, yeah, just put that in his food. And, I mean, I used to do a lot of pills. And she's like, whoa, okay. Yeah, the fucking spoon, dude. It works every time so well. So well.
Where are all my spoons?
All of our lighters had residue. At one point, we used lighters.
At the bottom.
This is really gross too. We would take a dollar bill and flatten it out, smash the dollar bill. We would lick the residue off the dollar bill.
Oh my God.
Then we would roll it and then sort it. It was a whole thing. That was what we do.
I've licked residue off of a lighter, but I've never licked residue off of a dollar.
Oh, that's like becoming blood brothers or something. Like when you cut your hand and then shake hands. Ugh.
We all had our own dollar though. We weren't sickos.
It wasn't gross.
We were fucking sickos like that. No.
Yeah, for real. I'm a gentleman.
No, so yeah, that's one of my big things too. Is uppers are amazing.
You get everything done.
Yeah, I used to like we had to clean the old apartment before we moved out, and we like had different work schedules, and Zach was going to work one day, and it was my day to clean the apartment, and he just dropped me an Adderall before he left, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I got shit done, dude. It was one of the.
I guess I'll do everything.
One of those orange ones with the time release orange ones, and yeah, you just pull it straight apart, and then it's got the little.
Those are hydrocodone. Is that what that was?
No, it was Adderall.
Oh, Adderall. Oh, my bad.
But yeah, all the hydrocodone and stuff, it's always just been standard white pills. I've always got the just generic shit of that.
Yeah.
I snorted Similac one time because I was at my sister's house and I was pretty fucked up, and I was it was just shit all over the counter, and it was next to my.
What is that?
Similac. I'm sorry. It's a baby powder. It's milk powder. Baby formula. Thank you.
Yeah, we talked about this before. That's
baby powder.
Milk. Baby powder milk. Powder baby milk.
It's so gross. It turns into like weird yeasty shit. Like it just starts making dough.
I can only imagine.
Oh,
that sounds awful. I've accidentally snorted the wrong things. I can only imagine. That's a lie. I've intentionally snorted the wrong things. Who hasn't like fucking like what Smarties? Wasn't there something in school where like the kids would be like
sticks
fucking,
and shit.
Fucking snort this pixie stick, and you're like, fucking snort these Pop Rocks.
Yeah, there was always a snort the pixie stick kid, and it's like I think those are a bad candy. That was more of a gateway drug than marijuana. Like, hey, I present this idea. We know the kid who eats worms will do this, or the kid who fucking. Like the kid who flips his eyelid back on the bus is gonna definitely. So, you guys want to?
That's the same kid. Yeah, no, I could never do that.
It didn't get freaked. Not like that kid.
Yeah, no, it didn't really bug me, but there was a bunch of kids that would just like, but they would just do it like this, and then they'd be
like,
reveal it real quick.
They do a Satan face too, dude. That one, it was like a 6th grader, and I was like in 3rd or 4th grade.
Oh yeah, they pull their eyes and they like go backward.
Yeah, that scared the fuck out of me.
Freakish,
like, God damn it.
Freakish kids.
Nah.
Dude, it was scary, man.
I wonder what so those kids grow up and like now they're like, are they normal people that remember what kind of children they were? Because I remember what kind of kid I was, and I go like, whoa, what a fucking weirdo I was. I was just a weird kid. But those people, I think they're weird, and like, do they grow up normal and think back like, oh, I just really regret my behavior?
Or were they like, yeah, that was fine?
Yeah. Do you think they still do? Okay, so
not.
Check this out. I deliver pizza, and I was getting back in my car today, and some guy pulls up in his truck. He blocks me in. He just pulls up behind me, and he's like 55, and he's like, pizza delivery, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, sure, got another one in there for me. And like, okay, yeah, that's something that you would hear, but I'm like, dude, I'm so far past this. Like, even like, it blew my mind that a person would even ask that anymore. It was like, it was so crazy to me. Like, what? You're not a fucking 6-year-old?
It's a hack.
Yeah, total hack.
Pizza guy's a hack.
Yeah, I was
my favorite.
Annoyed.
I've seen this recently. I was at a 7-Eleven, and I'm so glad the lady did not respond to this. This lady was just buying like, a big ass pack of Corona, like the biggest one they had. And you're like, oh, maybe she's got a couple friends coming over or something, or maybe she's sad tonight, And this fucking dude about that age, they always have to say something. They have to interject because they just feel more and more irrelevant every day, I think. He's like, where's the party at? And she doesn't respond at all. She just looks down and just like, she's obviously uncomfortable though. And he just goes like, He's waiting for someone to respond to him, and then he just kind of walks away sadly. And I'm just like,
my God.
I can't believe people are still doing this, especially in like COVID era. But
that's cringy.
That shit's annoying. I mean, sometimes I get some stuff at work that's funny sometimes, and I kind of have to like roll with it if it's not funny. But I don't know, man.
The amount of shit. The amount of shit that like fucking I would like fake laugh at is when I was like serving, I'm like, oh my God, like good one. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's like this is not my authentic self.
Yeah. If someone was blocking me in though, I'd be fucking pissed. Like I'd be like, dude, I don't have time for your fucking
your stupid fucking
your really dumb boomer jokes. That's the other thing I think is funny is boomers always say that millennials want things for free, but I can't tell you how many times I bring a check to like a table of boomers and they're like, we didn't ask for that. I thought everything was on the house today. They always, dude, once a week, one of them will say something stupid like that. That's the joke that makes me the most mad. Like, it's like, no, you're paying for this shit. I brought it all to you. You're paying for it. Like, and I was like, oh, so we're the fucking ones who want out of paying for shit. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, that's funny shit. That's a good point.
I hate it. I hate it. I also hate the street jokes they tell because I know the end of the street joke 30 seconds.
That's painful.
Every time. And I have to be like, okay. And then something racist gets like, okay. Why is there always like, why is it so important that one of the people in the joke is black or Irish or gay? I don't care.
That happened on Friday. Someone started out their set with it was like he goes a Latino, a Jew, and like he said a couple other like a priest and someone, and I was like, huh? And like a stripper, and that's what it was.
Really nice people. I was like, everyone was kind of on their ears perked up waiting for him to say something bad, but I was like, oh, he's just trying to paint a picture. It's a lot of imagery. Like, but it was he put a little bit of stank on Latinos. I don't know. I don't know if I read it.
He did.
He's like, there was a Jew, there's Latinos.
And he kept referring him as the Latino. And then the Latino came up, and I was like, what?
The El Latino.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't do that with, like, what if he were to say, and then the black came up, and you can't, like, what? Dude, holy fuck. Like, you gotta watch and see if that's a thing that can just transfer straight across, because, like, you gotta just,
The Latino.
Yeah. Watch what you're saying into a microphone in front of a bunch of people.
I kind of like it when you're like, like, yeah. I kind of like It's one of my favorite things. I'm like, it's just, oh, they're a bad person. Like, we had a person like that at the parking lot, Mike, and she just told a really, really bad rape joke. Like something like, she basically was like, girls can't rape guys. Nope, can't happen. And it's just like, oh, shit. And she's, everyone in Portland's super sensitive. And we're all,
oh, God.
What it is at all. And it was funny. But she had like one of those barometer jokes beforehand where she just said something that was like kind of shitty, and we're like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just testing the water. So it's fucking a black guy. And you're like,
It was a weird night. And then
I fucking hate that when people are just like, Portland's too sensitive. It's just like, no, people are gonna fucking hold you accountable for what you say. You know, it's like, I feel like you like at this point, it doesn't make sense for you to be senseless. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
this isn't,
you know, this shit affects people.
Yeah, this isn't like Bill Hicks, fucking Andrew Dice Clay, fucking like. There's so many people that have this like mentality that like.
I've got shit to say.
I got shit to say. Oh, I'm a man. I'm gonna yell. And, yeah.
Oh man, there was this really bad fucking comic who came through the open mic who was like saying just all this vulgar shit, and I was just kind of like, but like they kind of bombed, and I was like, oh, okay, well this is fine, because they're either going to learn that this doesn't work, come back and do better, or they're going to be like, comedy's not what I thought it was, and then fucking leave, and I'll never see him again. So it's really, you know, that's the separation between like, you know, who wants to do it is like you either get corrected and you well, it's like you either get corrected and you're like, okay, that's fucking what I can do better, you know,
right.
And you fucking do that, or it's like, all right, well, fine. If this is such a problem that we asked you to fucking do better, then like, don't fucking come back here.
Well, and the nice thing is it's not as much of a, hey, fall in line or else you're out.
Right,
more than
exactly.
it is we are a community, and if you don't want to be a part of the community, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to be inside of the community.
Well, it's not that you like, I would say that you can't come back, but it's like you can't, like, if you can say this every single time, and at the end of your set every single time, I'm going to keep saying, don't fucking say that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it is just as much my right to keep fucking correcting you as it is your right to fucking keep saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want to keep saying it, like I can be like, hey, this is my fucking mic. I'm not telling you what you can't say, but I am telling you what you can't say here. You know?
And
that's for me to set up a room. I at least fucking, you know, I'm taking time out of my fucking day every single week to do the same thing. It's like, I'm just asking that you respect the space.
And it comes back to the same kind of thing you were talking about earlier. Like if you're not going to help yourself by listening to the people that are around you giving you feedback, if you're not going to help yourself, then I got no time for that, because you're wasting my time now.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not going to fucking correct everybody on everything, even though fucking, you know, there's times where I'm just like, wow, this is super homophobic. And I can tell this is like negatively impacting the gay people around me. And it's like, all right, well, maybe that's not my fucking thing to say, but it's like, you know, because I don't want to be that fucking person who's like correcting everybody on everything. But it's like, no, at my mic, I do not like jokes about sexual assault, fucking molestation, rape. And the only people allowed to make those jokes are women, because they can, and they either are or fucking, you know, they're in a way processing trauma, or fucking, you know, the idea of that trauma, you know. But like, I don't think fucking straight white dude should be like, rape is fucking, you know, yeah. I don't want that there, you know, and I don't want fucking black dudes saying it either. Like fucking being like, oh, every girl in Portland's been touched. It's like, where the fuck is the punchline? Because I don't fucking hear it, you know. So it's, you know, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, it's if it's a space that like, you know, you go ahead and create, it's like I have to be able to set those boundaries, you know, with myself, where it's like, hey, if I'm telling people in my life that I do not want them, if they cannot, you know, fucking, you know, take care of themselves, then I'm going to do the same thing for other spaces that I set up, you know. Otherwise I'm going to fucking lose my mind like I did before, you know. So so I hope it never comes across as like me being a fucking dick, you know. But it's like that's literally where I'm coming from, where it's like, no, I want to set up a space where it's like, hey, you know, this is my space, and these are the things that are welcome.
Mhm.
This is my space, and these are the things that are not.
Yeah, and it does sound it's a bummer that saying safe space, Mike, really hits people's nerves in the wrong way,
Yeah,
because that's not
yeah.
really. It's like, how
I'm like, you
about
can say racist jokes.
it's well, and it's also like, how about you just try not to, like, safe space really does mean just like, okay, just if you got stuff that you think might hurt people's feelings, put that on the back
Don't say
burner.
it.
Yeah, let's just it's
Don't be mean.
yeah,
That's all it really
it's
is. It's
so
like, don't be
easy.
Yeah,
mean. Yeah, don't be a dick. Like
yes,
it's like it doesn't mean you can't joke about things that are fucked up, but they have to be something that happened to you. It has to be
yes,
personal.
Mhm.
You can't punch down. You can only punch up or sideways, and
yeah,
punch
yeah,
yourself. Punch yourself is more fun. I like punching
yeah,
Oh
myself.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
because it's like, you know, I talk about like suicide and stuff, like, you know, like the set that, like, you know, I've kind of been like trying to work on and hash out. It's a lot about like bipolar, mental illness and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's a lot of jokes about like, oh, you know, I don't know, it's just like, it's a lot of jokes that like are joking about suicide or me being suicidal or having been suicidal. And it's like, it's not like you can't make jokes about these things. I'm not saying you can't make fucking, you know, dark jokes. I'm not saying you can't,
Mhm.
you know, there's a comic who I fucking love who, like, you know, who dances on that fucking line. Tori Ward, I love her to fucking death.
oh
She
yeah,
dances on that line, and she's great for it. And I want her, somebody like her, to fucking grow and fucking prosper, you know,
for
from a
sure.
mic like that, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, I don't want to stifle anybody's creativity. I want to see people, the people who deserve to grow, you know, or should be growing. I want to see them be able to grow from that.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's fucking convoluted.
No, I mean,
No.
it's great because I like seeing people, because I feel like I'm the same kind of way as, like, I'm not as good as a lot of people around me, but I like creating an area. Like, I've ran so many mics in Salem just because I like having a place where like all my friends come together, and like, yeah, I can be funny too, but like everybody can just come like work on their shit and like actually treat it like a serious place. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's it's great being like a facilitator like that. And
Yeah.
um I don't know. It's not necessarily like I like being in charge. It's like I like bringing the thing to people,
Yeah.
and
And that's
it's
the
really
same
fun.
way. Yeah. I fucking hate being in
You like want,
charge.
want to be Prometheus bringing fire to the humans. But
That is
then you
true
no,
though.
get,
yeah,
you get then you get chained to a mountain and the ravens eat your guts for eternity. Though, like,
it's decadent.
yeah, that's when you're on my coast. You're just
That is
it,
a
No,
thing
it's like
about
it becomes a burden sometimes, for sure. Like running a mic, especially a
yeah.
late night mic or something that just eats into a certain part of your day, or just
Mm-hmm.
the way people just kind of show up. Sorry, Zane. I just,
No, no.
well,
You're always welcome.
I know, but that used to frustrate me so much. Like, especially at when I was hosting Midnight Mike for a stretch, and people would just roll in at like fucking 1, and
One,
they're
be
like,
like, yo, can
"Oh,
I get a
man, we're just
spot?
and it's like, dude, we're like 30 deep, and it's like we're
You're
trying to
looking at the
wrap.
numbers. You're looking at the numbers of the comics, and you're like, there's no way I can't fucking fit them. It's not
No,
possible. I want to, but I can't.
I always made it work in some way. I turned away some people sometimes, but very
Yeah.
rarely.
Yeah.
Like, the only one time I felt really bad was the queer comedy festival was in town, and I tried my
Mm.
best to get one that was on the festival to get a mic spot too.
Yeah.
And I had to a local comics, and they got kind of mad at me. But I was like, dude, they're here already, and they just did a festival, and
They're here.
like,
They're queer. Get used to it.
Yeah.
yeah. But there was a couple of people even from the festival I couldn't get up, and that made me feel bad too. But that was right. I took things too personally when I hosted. Obviously, that was when I mean, my fucking rock bottom moment happened hosting an open mic.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I totally get you. I totally get you. No, it's
I
yeah,
want to host again now that I'm sober. Like, I
yeah.
think it would be a lot of fun. Like, I mean, I did host that show for a bit. Like, I only had 2 shows, but that was fun.
Over
That
at
was
the
fun.
yard, right?
No, I haven't done that yet. No, I mean, a show that was my own.
Okay.
The comedy. I did Comedy Cult last year. that was a fun place to fail. But I'm still like, I don't know, man. Hosting is just such a hard gig, and I
It
like
is.
at the garage open mic, the newer guy Cam who was hosting, I felt bad because he kept like like being self-deprecating about his hosting, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
dude, you're fine. Hosting sucks. Like, you don't suck. Hosting sucks. Like, dude, you'll get the handle of it. I say that to any open mic host. Like, dude, you're a hero. You're a fucking hero.
Yeah,
Well,
he had like 25 names, and he messed up like 2 of them a little bit. And even after the mic, he would come up to people and be like, "Hey, I'm really sorry I messed up your name."
so much.
And then everybody's like, "Oh, dude, you did just shut up. That's great. Don't ever, yeah, no,
Yeah.
nobody's thinking about that at all. You're the only person thinking about that. Have a beer." It's
Yeah.
great.
Well, it's like the thing that's so funny that I'm hosting 2 mics now is that like I had started a mic that was supposed to be before midnight mic called pregame open mic, and it was like, let's get drunk and then go to the other place and get drunk.
Rods or whatever.
Yeah,
The
Labs
Tap
Tap
House?
House.
That was
Shit
fun.
show.
That was fun. That was a fun double dip when it existed. I actually really enjoyed it.
Well,
That was a good time.
the thing was like I didn't know what hosting entailed, and I think there was a part of me at that time that just wanted, it's like I wanted my name on stuff. I just wanted to be like, oh yeah, I just want to, I'll just start an open mic, fucking it'll be Zane's open mic. And I remember just getting into it and fucking hosting it, and like I remember the worst part, the first and worst part was like I would tell jokes, I would tell like one-liners in between, and they would bomb, and then I'd be like, well, your next person, and it would be fucking so awkward every time, and I hated that. But like other than that, it was like, it was just like, I don't know, I didn't know what hosting was, so it's like I would ask Amanda, who was my partner at the time, to fucking, I'd be like, hey, can you host this, and I would watch her go up and host and fucking be such a badass, and I'd be like, damn, that's what I want to do. But like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So like when I quit doing it, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm ever going to host a comedy open mic ever again.
Yeah.
So then I hosted Late Lyrics, and I hosted a music mic.
I remember that. That was after,
that's why
that was after Trista's show, right? Are you and Trista?
After Only the Baddest.
Mm-hmm.
After Only the Baddest. Yeah. So then that's how I got into hosting, fucking Late Lyrics, is because I was like, oh, I'll never host a comedy open mic ever again. But yeah, so it was just, I don't know.
Look at you now.
And look at you now. Now I fucking combined it all, and I'm just like, that's fucking, yeah.
So you host at the Big Legralski? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there yet.
Big Legralski. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's a cool little spot. It's got an outdoor patio, and the musicians and stuff can play like from behind the glass, which fucking honestly, everybody's 6 fucking feet apart wearing a mask, but it's cool. Fucking you get the sound fucking coming from inside, and the musicians can take their stuff off and fucking rock in there, which is like super helpful for them because they can connect and shit.
Cool.
And then outside we have the comedians, and we try and fucking get those guys like kind of like in a nice little spot where you're surrounded by the audience, and it's there's like a fireplace, there's fucking heated tents and shit. So yeah, it was a spot that I had found early on during the pandemic. I was asked to be on the show, and I was like, I asked the people who put me on the show, hey, is it cool? Would it be cool if I brought an open mic there?
Right.
And yeah, I was really fortunate to be able to talk to the owner and fucking just get that fucking squared away,
Yeah,
so
it's super cool. What's the other one you do?
The other one I do is Day Buzz open mic.
Day Buzz open mic. I don't understand. What's funny about that one?
Just the fact that like I named it when I was drinking, and now every day I have to show up to it, and I'm just like, welcome to Day Buzz open. I'm not drinking, and fuck you guys open mic.
That's so crazy. I didn't even think about the word buzz. Like, do you guys notice like since alcohol's not a big part of your life anymore, people will say words that you used to know, like alcohol words, and you're like, I don't even know what you're saying anymore. Like, what's I can't even think of something.
I forgot that goes into drinks because it's been so long since I've been a bartender, and I'll just be like, yeah, that's got this in it, and my manager's like, no, that's never been in there. Like, I'm like, what? Yeah, that's what's in a Long Island. It's got Long Island in there. It's like, no, it doesn't do it. And I was like, yeah, it gets all this triple sec. He's like, yeah, it gets a little triple sec or something like that.
It gets all this triple. It gets a little.
It's a little bit of triple. But yeah, I don't fucking. I'm forgetting all of that shit because it's not necessary anymore. You know what's really funny though is I sell this shit out of Boneyard IPA at work, and I watch people drink it and enjoy it, and it makes me happy because I can't drink it anymore because I used to love that beer.
Oh, nice.
That's so funny.
Like vicariously through them. And I'm like, you're gonna love it. I was like, you're gonna fucking love it. And then I always check in with them like, how'd you love it? And they're like, oh, it's amazing. And I'm like, yeah. But I can't drink it. It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. And it makes sense at my job though, because I mean I have to fake liking shellfish and shit because I'm allergic. I can't eat oysters. Yeah, they're like, hey, how are the oysters? And I'm like, fucking gross looking. I don't know. Like, I don't touch them. Like, they look like snot. Why would you eat that? Like, but, no, I have to fake that, and then the faking liking alcohol and shit is easy, you know. But I don't know. Sometimes I think about the hypocrisy of me like making a lot of money off of something that I don't think is good for people, and I've seen people drink too much and shit. Like, I won't overserve anyone, but I've acted on that before.
But I've properly served people. Yeah, no, I remember I was working as a bartender when I actually quit drinking the first time. I had moved up to Vancouver, and
that's got to be hard.
Yeah. The first job that I got was at this place called the Heavy Metal Brewing Company because I was like, told my job, I'm like, I'm getting my lip pierced, and they're like, you can't work here, and I was like, fine, then I don't fucking work there. And I felt like such a badass. It's like it's what you say when you're 16 and you get your lip pierced. And I moved up and I started working at the Heavy Metal Brewing Company. And I was fucking beer tending, technically. I wasn't fucking mixing drinks or anything like that. And that was fucking they'd be like, what do these taste like? And I'd be like, have a sip. And I'd pour them a fucking tiny little cup. And I'd be like, you tell me. And I'll tell the next guy.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it was like I told him, I was like, hey, if I ever go back to drinking, I'll try this out. But it wasn't even like to get an idea what it tasted like. I was like, nah, I don't even want to put it in my mouth. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, I think of hard experiences like that too, where I won't try any of the alcohol at work. Like people have tried to get me to, like my manager. He's like, here, just have a sip. And he's like, I was like, there's alcohol in there, right? And he's like, no, it's just Prosecco. And I'm like, it's fucking champagne, dude. I'm not like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, and it's weird that like there's been plenty of times where someone's like, oh yeah, but it's just like a tiny bit. It's not gonna like get you drunk or anything. And I'm like, yeah, but like I made a decision. It's not like I am being poisoned by it or something. It's like I made this decision and it's like a life thing. It has nothing to do with like if I drink it, I'm gonna go crazy. It's the
same reason vegetarians don't eat shit that's like was cooked on the same fucking thing as meat. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, if I'm going to fucking go ahead and do the thing, I'm not trying to do tiny bits of the thing the entire time. I might as well do the fucking thing, you know?
Yeah.
And if you've lived long enough without something in your system, it'll fuck up your system too. Like even a tiny bit of alcohol would probably fuck up our systems right now.
Yeah, it's like extra poison.
Yeah, because we don't have any we don't have anything to combat it with because we've been like the alcohol bloods or like whatever combats the alcohol is just like, oh man, we've had like 2 years off, like holy shit. They're just chilling. They're just like relaxing now because they've been battling for years. And
yeah, for real. Just fucking time of peace. They're just fucking
the little men who watch over our liver.
They're in peace times.
They're in peace time. You can't just fucking tidal wave of fucking whiskey or like drop. They'd be like, holy shit.
Zane, I've always been curious. What do you think pulled you into being a one-liner dude person?
I think it was my grandfather. I think.
Oh, cool.
And I was explaining this to somebody yesterday. But basically, every time we would drive past a corn silo, and I lived in Iowa, so this was a lot of the time. Every time we would drive past a corn silo, he'd be like, a dog went crazy in there. I was like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, he couldn't find a corner to pee in. He would tell this joke the same way every single time. Like he'd never told that joke before. And it was so fucking impressive. Because I would be like, he'd be like, a dog went crazy. And I'm like, yeah, grandpa, did he? And like, I'm already fucking waiting for it.
Do you
already annoyed with it?
There was probably times though, like where you guys drove by there and you would start laughing just at the sight of the silo, like kind of just like,
or just waiting for it. Just like, here we go.
Yeah.
And he watched a lot of like the airplane movies. So I think it was just like kind of that so goofy, cool. Like my grandfather was like Leslie Nielsen is literally like who I remember my grandfather as.
We talked about this before.
Yeah. Yep.
Leslie Nielsen has that familial thing for sure.
Yeah. He's everyone's grandpa. But yeah, it was just a lot of those just kind of goofy movies. I really like telling jokes that like people are upset that they laughed at.
Yeah, there was one very recently that I read it and I was like, wow, that's a big swing. And and wow, it sure worked out. Like it's a really funny joke, and that's not something that I would try with because it's like I don't know if like I don't know I no it's a great joke.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. I think the thing too is like that I found that kind of works with me is like I like to talk about, like maybe more intense things in like my stand up, where it's like, oh, I used to do meth or, because like I would talk about that, like, oh, I used to do meth and did that. But I realized that if you punch it up real quick, hey, I got into drugs. I know you're not supposed to do drugs when you're depressed because it's a slippery slope, but who doesn't like water slides?
Yeah.
Yep. Right? I love it.
So it's like it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, like this person did meth. It's like super shocking, and then you're like, oh man, he's just a goofy dude, like he's still. That's why like I jokingly refer to myself as your old pal Zane, is because it's like as part of it's like kind of a joke about my mania. It's like pew 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 when I'm like just super amped up, and you're like, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of like the reminder that I like to give in my jokes. It's like, hey, no matter how serious he is, like it gets I'm genuinely the same fucking pew pew pew.
Okay, so I've never been a one-liner person. I've written like 5. So it always fascinates me. So what do you think is how many one-liners have you done without notes in one set? Like how long was the set at least? I guess that's the easier thing to remember.
Man. Without notes. I did them with notes. The only time I did a 10-minute set one time.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
I did a 10-minute set where I just stacked all my fucking one-liners.
I had like a loose.
Was insane.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you guys. Your semifinal set was insane. Like it was like 6 minutes of flat jokes and no notes.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I was super. I busted that out at the open mic, and somebody was like, the person who I've been running the open mic, he's like, that's a really good set. I like how you do it. I'm like, yeah, that's a set that I know works. It's like I'm obviously like trying to figure out this other stuff so that I can make it into that.
Well, that's the thing that kind of fascinates me with the one-liners is. So like you have
how the fuck I made it to the finals.
So so somebody writes a set, say they do a set or an open mic. They have this joke here, this joke here, this joke here, maybe 4 jokes total, maybe up to 6 or something. And there's a lot of, so like say 2 of the things don't work. So you're throwing away about half your set. So you're like, okay, well that shit didn't work. I need to either work on it or throw it away. With one-liners, you're doing so many and you probably have to record a lot more, right? Because you have to actually like go like, oh yeah, I actually did, 20. And then you have to go like, oh, these ones worked, these ones didn't.
Well, it's like I would say like my style now more so it's like, so what I like to do is like I like to open up with one-liners just because like my theory is if you can make someone laugh once, you can make them laugh twice. So it's sometimes it's the thing that like almost like stops you from or makes it difficult to connect with the audience is like all that time before you hit your first joke,
Right.
you know. So it's like, so I that's why I just go with like two quick ones, you know. I'll bust one off, and then I'll be like, or two, usually two, and then I'll go into like something that's more long form, but it's usually scattered with fucking, you know, short fucking, you know, one-liners where you're like, oh, okay, that was something serious. Oh no, never mind, it was a fucking pun. Oh, you got me, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and people are just
That is a really
I
good
almost go ahead.
Oh, that is a really good point, though. Of like, if you can make someone laugh, you can make them laugh again. So, like, if you come out and you do a couple one-liners, you know, it doesn't hit everybody, but if you do, you know, a couple, then that probably will hit somebody. And there's like the Venn diagram of it that eventually fills up the whole crowd, and you're like, oh, cool, and then they all trust you. It's great.
Yep. No. It's definitely you got my secret. Now you run off with that.
Yeah. So
post it on a comedy blog.
I'm gonna steal your comedy essence.
I gift it to you.
Perfect. See the thing about one-liner comics is it's so much more work. It's so much more work, and I feel like that's just.
Honestly, the most work I do is I hear a word and then I fucking backwards engineer it.
Yeah, I could see
like
that.
Somebody said like, oh, you know, that was when I finally broke the cycle, and I was just like, I busted my washing machine. And they're like, they're like, yo, I was having a serious conversation. Was that all you got out of it? And I was like, I'm disassociated.
Yeah.
For the fun part.
Yeah, that is a good way to just kind of help yourself through things and be able to process the world around you. Is put it into joke form.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you know, it's especially like talking about like bipolar and stuff lately, you know, it's like, I know that it's not, I always said that if I came back to comedy, I wanted to do it talking about the stuff that I wanted to talk about. And there was a certain sense that like when I was doing my jokes before that like, they were things that like I got laughs off of, but it wasn't necessarily things that like I wanted to fucking talk about. You know, it's like I have a lot of jokes, like my joke about my fucking dad being G.I. Joe. You know, it's like that fucking. It's a good joke, but it's like that's not, you know, who I want to, you know, at the end of the day when I fucking hit my final form in fucking, you know, One Piece or whatever anime. When I finally hit my final form, I don't want to be, you know, fucking hey, fucking race joke, fucking pun guy.
Like, I get that for sure. You don't want to have to lean on something like that or feel like because you're okay with it because you're bringing it to the audience, but you don't necessarily want someone who would that would further like some kind of stereotype or something.
Oh well, there was one time I told like, you know, all right, so my mixed race, which means my mom's white and my dad's, and somebody said gone, and I'm like, well, that was my punchline, but also you suck for thinking it, but like also do people think this when I say this, because that's not, you know, and like it started getting in my head about this fucking, you know, a joke that I told a million times, and it was like I always just said that like if I was going to come back to comedy, I wanted to talk about like things that like mental health and mental illness, you know, mental wellness, working on yourself, you know, shit like that. You know, I didn't want to just be like, oh, I met my dad, thought he was G.I. Joe. It's like, you know, black G.I. Joe.
That makes sense. But you can always take those skills from jokes like that. And you can always
absolutely
ideas from that and then reincorporate it, because that's, you know, I mean, you're like, even though you don't like the joke anymore or you don't really want to do it anymore, you can still like, I mean, you still learn something from setting up the punchlines.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's a crisp joke. So, but that is really cool to be able to be like, you know what, this is what I want to do. And I don't want to be something that I'm not or just because it's the easy joke or it's the easy. And I'll play with fat jokes too. I mean, I still do a few of them, but I try and lean away from it as much as I can. And hopefully I'll lose enough weight at a certain point where I won't be able to do them anymore.
Well, Simon Gibson.
No, I totally get that, man. But definitely, like I don't think I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I
No,
think
no, no.
that
I get what you're saying.
yeah,
It's basically don't throw away the whole set just because you didn't like one joke, you know?
yeah, and then
It's
and realize that maybe that's something you can come back to later and then rewrite it. You
Oh yeah,
know?
absolutely. And it's not something that like I really even want to like throw away. It's just it's not all I want to have, you know.
Yeah,
It's like if I
exactly.
work on a new 5 minutes, like because I didn't end up signing up for Portland's Funniest this year.
Mhm.
But I think, like next year, by the time I go there, I want to have something different, you know. It's like, hey, I know this set can get me here, but like what can I build in a whole other year? What am I capable of?
Yeah.
If I really, get my head back into it and fucking, Amanda invited me out to her mics, her couple of mics that she's doing. So I might roll with you, Kyle, to fucking hit those. Do you
Hell
work
yeah.
today?
What's that?
Do you work today?
Yeah, my schedule's been fucking weird. They started scheduling me against my availability on Sundays, and
Ooh,
I talked to my manager about it, and I still get out around 9 to do the podcast, but it's like I want to do Amanda's mic again too because I've been doing it pretty consistently, and I've been doing really well at it. I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't
yeah,
gotten to do I haven't gotten to do Haymaker though because of I've been working Thursdays pretty consistently.
Mm.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's fucking.
I'm gonna have Sundays free again soon, so I would definitely want to go back to Schmitza after work.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do like during the day, and I've been like working cocktail during the day, but
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, then maybe I can just write, or I'll find my way to Schmeets, and then maybe you give me a ride. Oh, you don't have to give me. I'm getting a car, player. My fucking
oh,
life is looking up, dude.
Ooh.
Life is looking up.
Do you
I'm
have a
not
car
giving
in
rides,
mind?
dude. I give rides freely.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. I'm not getting a car. I technically have it. I technically have it picked out, but I don't know what it is. It's a Nissan. They keep calling me. They're like, "You're approved," and I'm like, because I didn't think I was going to get approved. Honestly, my dad said he was going to co-sign, and then they called back and they're like, your dad says he's bankrupt." I'm like, oh, why didn't he tell me
And
that?
now
That's
I'll
weird.
just pop the battle.
The princess is not at this castle. Is that what you said? Yeah, so fucking yeah, I was super. Yeah, I was like, well, I'm not gonna pass on my credit because I got messed up on a medical bill and just haven't been able to pay it. So I was like, there's no way.
Those
And
things
then
will fuck you
yeah,
for
I was
life.
super,
Oh
yeah, no, I
man.
was pretty much sure. I was sure of it. And they called me back like, you're approved. And now they won't fucking quit calling me. And I was like, great, we can give you a ride over here. And I'm like, oh, I'm fucking sure you can.
I need to make a few stops on the way though.
Like you don't
Yeah,
even need to
for
walk. You can you don't even
yeah,
need to take the bus. You can
yeah. They'll carry me downstairs.
we'll shuttle your ass. Can we just like what's your social security? Like can we just have
Approved.
we want all of you.
You give us the money and we'll just drive it over there. How about that?
Are you already getting calls about your warranty on your car being expired?
Dude, I've been fucking getting those calls since the last car I fucking bought. Those are just monsters. Those guys are monsters.
We just bought my daughter a phone, and so she has an iPhone, and she's 9, and she gets those phone calls, and she'll go, "Hello, what? My car warranty's expired, Dad." I'm like, "Shut up! Just hang up on him, damn it! Now you're still on the call list. You're enforcing it. Stop it." It's pretty fun though.
My thing to do is wait a second and then hear what they're trying to sell me, and then I just go, "Ah!" It's like fucked up. They never call you again from that number.
My favorite one is you pick up, and then there's just a cruise line. It just goes, "Fmurp," and it's like Carnival Cruise Line. You're like, whoa, okay. You started out with a ship horn. The fuck? It's weird. Are
What if you had fucking headphones in? That's fucked up, man.
are you calling from on the ship?
That's not professional. You can't hear.
Yeah, I thought I was being called by a Mack truck, but no, it's Carnival Cruise.
Oh shit! The semi is about to come through this telephone.
Yeah, it's like the opening scene of The Matrix. Well, Zane, thank you for being on here with us. Can we get just so people can know when your mics are, so they can hit those up and come stalk you and shit?
Yeah, it's going to be from on Monday. It's going to be 7 to 10, and then on Saturday it's going to be from 4:30 to 6:30, both at the Big Legrowski.
Oh, there's two of them.
Yep, there's two of them. Two of them,
shit.
baby.
Cool.
Starting up a showcase too.
So both of the okay, I need clarification for myself. So you do two mics, both at the Big Legrowski, and one of them is called
the Masquerade Open Mic on Mondays. The other one is called the Daybuzz Open Mic.
Okay.
On Saturdays.
Perfect.
That's where I secretly get drunk.
Nice. That's always fun to secretly get drunk. Actually, you know what? It was fun when I was secretly getting drunk. Kyle and I have talked about it a few times. Of like, goddamn, you feel like just yeah. Oh, man, you feel like a secret agent. It's
yeah, a secret agent.
Yeah, you pull back into work after you got to the liquor store. You're like,
Chad, why are you singing the James Bond theme? Oh.
You're like, oh, this ginger ale that I'm drinking. No, I'm not gonna set it down. No, you can't smell it. I gotta pack my car. Don't worry about it.
Chad, what are you doing over there?
Dude, I had fucking whiskey in my coffee one time at Red Robin. That was the dumbest. In like a fucking to-go cup. I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Didn't you say that like you got compliments on the time that you were drunk at work?
Dude, I would get the best reviews from customers when I was like hammered. It was fucking ridiculous. They're like, he was so personable and he's did such a great job.
Right? That's what reinforces it. You're just like, but I did a good job.
They're like, he made our 10-year-old's birthday special. And I was like, I'm fucking so hammered. I feel special right now. I'm fucking, oh my
God. So Zane, you're on Instagram at your old pal Zane. You're on Twitter at Zane Thomas _11, right?
I guess I'm gonna change that.
Okay. For now, just type in Zane Thomas into Twitter. That's what I did to figure that out. It works. It works well. Kyle, do you have anything you want to plug?
I'm gonna be at Dallas, Oregon, doing that show on the 22nd.
I don't mean to smile when I hear the word Dallas. It's just every time I go to the town, I'm like, okay.
I'm probably gonna yell at some rednecks.
Hell yeah! Oh yeah, it's so fun.
I'm gonna take some mushrooms first. So
I'm gonna take all cylinders.
I'm gonna be Mushroom Kyle versus Drunk Redneck. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna Jedi mind trick them if I can into liking myself and hearing about my dead mom. I actually I did that and I did that in a place in Forest Grove at a bar called Diversity, where the only black guy there was Shane Brendan, who the host brought in. Like I literally had a 15-minute set and I won them over, and they liked the dead mom stuff, and that made me happy. Yeah, I'm doing Dallas. I'm just I'm doing a couple of things here that are fun for me. Like I'm gonna do the Tacoma Comedy Club open mic for the first time, and I got 2 nights in a row. So I'm gonna get a hotel room with Jaron, and we're gonna hang out.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing and the 23rd I'm doing a show with the Amazon Queen at the Flight Lounge. I finally have info on this.
Hey, they're nice.
That's awesome. I saw those posters.
Yeah. The tickets are only $50. They really are $50, but it's because you get like dinner, the show,
plate, yeah.
You get like weed or something, like a flight of weed. I guess is what it is.
That's awesome.
I don't know how it works, but I'm excited for that one.
That's gonna be fancy.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. We'll have to. What day is that again?
That's the 23rd. It's a Friday, and then I'm gonna be in. The 22nd is the Dallas show, and then Tacoma's like 27th, 28th. It's a good month so far.
This will be out the 18th. So yeah, perfect. Everybody go watch go to Zane's open mics, go to a little scary redneck town and watch Kyle yell at some of the Confederates. They are just oh, they're aliens. It's crazy.
I'm just gonna ask everyone where they were on the 6th of January. I'm just gonna where are you?
As far as for me, just go on social media, type in my name. That works. Type in the Podchaost on Google. That works too. And hey, this has been the first episode of our new name, Hot Off Depressives, with Kyle Adams and Chad Johnson. Thank you very much, Zane, for being on here with us. It's been a fucking delight. You are great. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.